See if I can do a touch and go. I'm gonna try. Gotta have one heck of a STOL approach for this one. "6S power is plenty to get on and off the water with. Hey everyone, welcome back to Motion RC. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, and today we're going to be installing the float kit here on the Bison XT. To get started, let's go on and take your wings off of the airplane. It's going to make it a lot easier while we're turning it over and everything. Let's also go on and remove our landing gear from the airplane. On the bottom of it, it's as simple as taking the 4 screws out of the pins that are in the bottom of the landing gear and then removing the 2 that go up here on the fuselage, and then go on and put your hardware back in the airplane all around. That way you don't have to worry about losing it while you have your gear off of the airplane. With that being said, let's get down on the bench and let's get to assembling these floats. First thing we're going to find in our float set is the 2 metal rods that are going to connect into the fuselage. You'll notice that one side is larger than the other. Okay, now let's take the 2 long metal rods that are exactly the same as each other, and we're going to key those into the most inner holes of the floats. You'll see there's 3 holes on the inside of your floats where these can key into. Like I said, make sure you put those to the most inward holes. Okay, now that we have those in, it's time to put our braces that go up to the airplane on. Now, these need to be leaned to the forward section of your floats. Go on and clip the smaller one in the back, and this is going to go in that middle hole. And then on your front ones, it's the larger of the 2 bars. That one's going to clip into the middle hole also. When you get done, like you'll see, it's going to lean to the front, and you're going to have the large one up in the front and the small one in the back. Now we need to install the hardware for the float set. These are the attachments points that are going to hold the wires actually into the airplane. So let's only put 1 screw in at a time for right now. As you get to the back section, make sure you put the screw towards the aft of the airplane. You need to leave the front section open because we're going to slide a bar into that after we get these attached and holding it on. So now that we have those attachments, you're going to take your 2 bars, you're going to slide them in underneath these back ones, and then put a screw down through it. Get the other side put on with it. And what you'll see when you get them all put together is the L is going to be flat towards the front of the airplane. This will make more sense to you as you start sliding it into the airplane and you actually see this, but when you put your rods on, that L is going to go to the front. At this point, let's get the airplane flipped over and let's slide the floats down into the airplane. Like I said, the smaller one is going to key into the back, the larger one is going to key into the front. Now you're going to take your Allen key and you're going to screw this through the top and into the receiving point that's the brass holders inside of the fuselage. As you can see, if you have these bars on the wrong way, they're not going to line up at all. So you need to make sure they're lined up correctly, and this will just key right down into the model. And here's an overview shot just so you can see exactly how this should look when you get done. Now moving on to the back, you're going to see these clips only fit one direction to where they key in correctly into the fuselage, and then you have the 1 Allen key screw that's going to go down and hold them on. Next step in the process is to get our servo wire brought down from the float that actually drives your steering servo, and then there's a hole already keyed into the bottom of the fuselage where you're going to slide that in through. And then take your zip tie that's provided in the kit and secure your wire to the strut. Now I went on ahead and had an extra zip tie here and stuck one at the bottom of my float also. So this is definitely an optional step, but I think you should do this just to make it more secure. Now it's time to get our water rudder installed. One of the pieces already comes glued in, and it's as simple as taking your water rudder and putting the bolt and the nut through it. Make sure you leave it loose enough to where it can flop up and down. Then you're going to take your rubber band that's provided in the kit and snake it through the 2 holes. I took one side of my rubber band and hooked it around the screw itself that holds the water rudder on, and then the other one I stretched around and put on top of the servo horn. When you have it right, you should be able to pull on it and it'll flop back down. This just makes it so if you hit something in the water, that the water rudder moves out of the way. Now the kit comes with 2 water rudders. It is optional for you to use the second one. If you do want to use it, you just need to glue it in, assemble it the same way as you did the other one, and then you'll need to bend up a rod to go between the 2 and make it work. All right, so that gets the float kit all put together for the Bison XT. Our last thing to do is to go on inside the airplane where we've snuck our wire in for the water rudder, put a Y harness in and plug that into our receiver into the rudder channel. That will mix the 2 together so we now have the water rudder available. I can't wait to get this out to the lake, give it a try. I haven't had a float plane in a while, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. It's down there in the bottom, hit that button. Don't forget, you can also check us out over on Facebook at the Customer Community or talk on the Hobby Squawk forums. Anyway, whether it's land, sea, or air, Motion RC has what you want, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.